Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review, or in this case, a book haul. Oh, my friend left me. I was hoping Kyle would stay for the video, but she has other ideas. So it will just be me going through the books that I checked out for my little late November read. So I still am finishing up a couple books from my last haul, but I'm reading through them, so I decided to get a couple more, which I probably should have waited until I was finished with the ones I have, but it's me. So we have quite the stack to go through, and I will be talking through them. So the first one is one that I checked out solely because I saw witches in the title and I cannot help myself but to check out a book with witches in the title. I love witches. I love the whole, anything with the word witch in the title I'm going to check out basically is where we're at. So this is The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca Marais. I think that's how you say her last name. It's M-A-R-A-I-S. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, and I really hope I was not the one who bent this because it is a library book. But this book I only checked out because it had witches in the title. So the library that I go to kind of classifies some of their fiction, like if it's romance, if it's sci-fi, if it's horror, and this one is classified as horror. I don't know if you can see on this corner, but when I read the back, it didn't really seem very spooky, or at least like very, very horrifying. So we're gonna give it a read, even though it says horror on the spine, and that's not really my cup of tea. I read the synopsis on the back and it didn't seem like it was going to be too scary, and I've read a couple other things from the library that are marked as horror that I did not find scary at all, and I scare very, very easily. Think like 5-year-old. I am not desensitized to anything spooky at all, so I scare easily, and some of the things labeled as horror have not been horrifying in the past, so I'm hoping this falls in the same category and it just kind of is maybe a little spooky, but not too spooky. So The Witches of Moonshine Manor, we're gonna see how I feel about this one. This one I feel like it's going to be like a quick, maybe weekend read I can read over the course of a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm taking some time off for the upcoming holidays, so maybe I'll get through that shortly. We have this one. Second one is the next book in the Thrawn series, or the first one. Loved it. I love Thrawn. He's one of my favorite characters. I like that he's a smart bad guy. I feel like it's very, very, or bad guy. He's kind of bad, but I just really appreciate him as a character. I love him as a character, and I liked the first book. So this is the second book in the new series. This is by Timothy Zahn. I know there is like an older series from I believe the 90s, and then there's this series. I'm reading this series, but then I want to go back and read the 90s series. So yeah, I'm going to read this one. I don't think this one will take very long to read. I feel like I remember the last one reading very, very quickly, and this one's only like around 300 pages. So I hope to get this out quickly, but I also hope to enjoy it. This is Thrawn Alliances, and again, it's the second book in the current or more recent Thrawn series. Next is something that I found on the new shelf at the library. Well, the other one was also on the new shelf, but this one I also thought looked interesting, and it's Buried by Alice Roberts, Professor Alice Roberts, and it's an alternative history of the first millennium in Britain. Now, if I believe correctly, this is kind of telling the story of Britain, but based on funerary, am I saying that word right? Funerary burials. So kind of what can we glean about the first millennium of history in Britain, as the title says, but from just the burials, which I think is really, really interesting, and I'm excited to see her take on it. Again, doesn't seem too long, but I love reading about history, and I expect this to be very, very interesting. So we'll see what comes out of this book, Buried by Professor Alice Roberts. Finally, we have two comics. I think these will be read very, very quickly, but I checked them out. The first one was one that I'm going into totally blind. I just liked the design of the cover, so I'm checking it out. I do not know what to expect. I might hate it, I might love it, but I'm going into it totally blind. And that is Plutona. Don't even know if this is part of a series, know nothing about it, but I'm just interested in the title because I thought it looked kind of cool, and it is a comic book. So at least that is my understanding. So we're gonna read it. I'm gonna see what I think about it. But I'm going in totally blind, so this one is either going to be a hit, a miss, something I totally don't like, but we will see if I even finish it or how I feel about it. Either way, I will be reviewing it, so stay tuned on Plutona. And finally, we have Snow Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman and Colleen Doran. I don't know what to expect, but I did see the art in this, and the art was absolutely beautiful. I loved it, so I am excited to read it. I believe Chivalry, which was another comic book that I read, was also by Neil Gaiman, and I liked that one more than I liked the book I read by Neil Gaiman. I read American Gods, and it wasn't really my cup of tea, but I did like Chivalry, so I'm going to read this one, another one by Neil Gaiman, and see how I feel about it. Plus, I thought the art on the cover was super, super pretty, so yeah, we'll see how I feel about it. This is again Snow Glass Apples by Neil Gaiman and Colleen Doran, and it's a comic book, a rather smaller a rather small comic book with what appears to be very beautiful art. So I'm excited to read it and see how I feel about it. So that wraps up the books that I'm going to be reading. I'm excited to see what these are all about, and if any of these interest you, stay tuned because I will be doing a review. What are you reading? What do you have to recommend? I'd love to hear it. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.